So imagine being able to buy a new Rolex for 50% off retail. Actually, I know some of you guys are having a chuckle because you can remember the days when you used to be able to get a discount on a Rolex. But the last couple years, especially with the entry-level variants, it's a steal if you can get it at retail if you got a connection with an authorized dealer. Because the reality is so many of the desirable models are being resold on secondhand markets for markups of 50, 100, 200%. But gents, what if I were to tell you there's a way to get a Rolex without paying Rolex prices? A brand that has the same founder as Rolex. In fact, this brand for years used mostly Rolex parts, maintained the same quality standards as a Swiss watchmaker, yet to this day still charges 1/3 what Rolex does for similar models. So the heritage watch brand I'm talking about today was founded in 1926 by the same Hans Wilsdorf that founded Rolex in 1905. The watch company I'm talking about today, if you haven't figured out, gentlemen, is Tudor. The watch I went with, as many of you guys know, was the Blancpain 58. Now, the Blancpain 58 is coming in like 10 variations right now, but the one I stuck with was the 39mm in steel with that black bezel, that black dial, and then, yeah, just the gold indices, really just a stunner of a watch. And the bezel on this thing, don't even get me started. This thing just absolutely so smooth, so nice. I mean, it's even better than the Rolex. I also love that it had a 70-hour power reserve. And so right there next to the winding crown, you've got this circular satin brushed steel winding crown tube. Basically, whenever you unscrew a winding crown and you pull it out, you've got this little thin piece of metal between you and the watch. I have to say, I absolutely love that they've got this protection around it, and it gives it such a more robust-like feeling. This is the Monta Triumph. And in case you haven't heard of Monta, this is one of those small niche brands. They're actually based out of St. Louis. I know both of the founders. We were in a mastermind together. But before that, I saw some great reviews about this company. I went over and just fell in love with the Triumph. Everything about this watch for me screamed perfection, beauty. I had to have it. Now, the movement is their Monta caliber M22 self-winding mechanical movement with bidirectional rotor. Now, the hands are Swiss-made, rhodium-plated, diamond-cut, sword-style hands filled with super luminova. Now, as you can see, the watch I'm wearing right here does not have the metal bracelet. I went with the leather because I just loved the way it looked. So the next watch on this list, Blancpain's 50 Fathoms. As the name of the watch piece implies, this timepiece was made to go underwater. You see, diving in the early 1950s was a very new sport. Yeah, people have been going underwater for thousands of years, but with the development of scuba gear, all of a sudden explorers were going deeper and deeper and things were getting more dangerous. Divers needed a watch that was made specifically for them and met their specifications, especially military divers who needed accurate timekeeping not only to coordinate with other units, but also to survive the deeps whenever they were coming back up. Seriously, if you're not familiar with the bends, just Google it. Man, it is not something you want to go through. In any case, the development of this watch wasn't really commercial for Blancpain. This was seen as something that, hey, they're doing a favor for the French military, because as their CEO said at the time, he thought the market for this watch was pretty much non-existent. Well, it turns out that he was wrong. In fact, throughout the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, dive watches quickly became one of the most common, one of the most sought after type of watches out there. Next up, I've got the Seiko Prospex. And the reason this one is on the list, because when you see it on my wrist, it's a little bit large. I mean, it's a really, the Samurai it's also called. It's a beautiful watch, just a little bit too big for me, hence why I don't wear it very often, but it's on this list because I liked it, or I liked the design of it so much. I ended up buying a couple others, one for Aaron Marino, one for my son, and I have to admit that like all three of us just love the overall design. The bezel, yeah, it is just smooth. And I love the hands. The hour hand is really cool on this watch. And just the colors, this one's the Save the Ocean design. Just a good looking watch. I thought it would be oversized for my wrist. It fits really nice on the wrist, and oh, just a great looking watch. One, I am very, very happy I grabbed this one. So the next watch on this list, Hamilton khaki field watch. Now, as many of you guys know, based out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Hamilton has been making watches for over 150 years. These guys started with pocket watches. They actually made watches during World War I for the US military, and they continued that tradition in World War II. In fact, they've served the military for over 75 years, and from 1942 to 1945, produced over 1 million timepieces for the military efforts. Now, throughout the 1950s, 60s, 70s, Hamilton produced a wide range of field watches, and a classic field watch watch is one that has a high contrast dial, so when you look at it, you can easily tell what time it is. Now, a classic field watch usually isn't going to have a whole lot of complications. It's going to be very simple to look at, very simple to read the time. The idea here was you could quickly glance at the watch, get the time, and move on with what you need to do. Over the years, they evolved, especially the ones adopted and used in aviation. And at its heart, a classic field watch is going to be a bit casual, not exactly a dress watch, but it's going to be incredibly functional, useful, and versatile. Now, there's a lot of khaki fields I could have put on this list, but the one I'm actually going to bring up, it's a variation. It appeared in the movie Interstellar, and that is the khaki field Murph Auto. Now, I actually did get my hands on this watch, and I felt the 42 millimeter was a bit large, so I was very happy to see they came out with a 38 millimeter. I've yet to pull the trigger on this one, but you can see here, this is a very simple, elegant design. I love the movie reference. If you haven't seen the movie Interstellar, you definitely want to check it out. The point being, a classic field watch, this is a timeless one you could add to your collection, and yeah, anyone that sees this watch is going to know this is a classic. Now, really quick, gents, if you are a watch lover like me, you like talking about timepieces, you like learning more about watch history, gents, if that's you, you need to join our free community, Watch Lover. This community has over 1,000 members, guys just like you, talking about watches and sharing their knowledge. So if you've got something to teach, or if you just want to go through our free courses, gents, use the link in the description of today's video, go over to school and join our free community today. Next up, we've got Orient, and I've got 3 Orient watches. Let's go ahead and start off with the Mako 2. And I heard again and again with dive watches, this is a great watch. If you're looking for an automatic watch, you're looking for one that has a unique style, is good looking, and again, great value, you want to look Orient. And I have to agree, I love the style of this. If you don't like the style, it's not going to work for you, but if you like the style and you're looking for a good value, highly recommend these. Now, the difference between the Mako 2 and the Ray 2, not much. Again, look at the dial and you'll see differences in the numbers and the way, the numerals and things like that. But otherwise, very similar watches. Now, I grabbed this Ray 3. It was a limited edition and I really like this. Of all the Orient watches, this is the one I go for. I didn't expect to like that little bit of gold right around here as much as I do. I think it just adds a little bit of pop to the watch and really sets it apart. The other ones feel more sporty, but just a good looking watch, and I'm actually very happy to own this one. And with that being said, gents, what video to watch next? How about my watch collection? What are the watches that I actually wear in my collection? I've got quite a few, guys. Find out in this video right here. I linked to the watches that I actually wear in my watch collection. So boom, check it out right here.